All right. So I'm back. Chyna Blakk, CB main. This is gonna be my first mukbang. However you might say, I'm not even one of those people that even like to eat in front of people, but whatever. This is what you kids are doing, so my young but old ass is gonna do it too. So I'm actually going to be giving y'all my live reaction to the Red Table Talks recent video with it is about the it says molested as a young boy and NBA star breaks his silence. So that is what I will be reacting to. And I don't know why my face looks like a totally different complexion from my neck. I don't even have makeup on, y'all. It must be the light. I'm not using my studio lights. I'm using just like the regular lighting in my studio area, podcast area. So I kind of look weird. But the eye looking good though, right? Whatever. All right, so we're gonna get into it. So today I have seafood. Seafood straight off the EBT card. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put no names out there on the people who be doing all that. I'm not gonna shout nobody out or get nobody in trouble. But I got Dungeness crab legs, some shrimp, potatoes, corn, and broccoli, of course. You know the usual. So let's get into this, y'all.
Table Talk is about a subject matter that is rarely talked about, and that is the sexual abuse of young boys. The headlines keep coming. Priests, pop stars, even the Boy Scouts. Every new accusation of sexual abuse exposes a hidden epidemic that tortures our young boys and leaves them suffering in silence. Just days ago, Common, the multi-talented Oscar winner, courageously revealed a painful experience he had repressed for years of being molested by a family friend as a young boy.
So I want people to be like, man, I could, I've experienced this and I can say something about it if I find out how to heal myself. And a lot of people are afraid to talk about it, but the only way we stop the cycle is to talk about it. So that's why I chose to say something.
I don't know what's going on.
And when a friend told me about a courageous NBA player who was revealing a trauma from his childhood, I knew we needed to hear his story at the Red Table.
What the hell? Hold on, y'all.
Afraid to talk about it, but the only way we stop the cycle is to talk about it. So that's why I chose to say something.
And when a friend told me about a courageous NBA player who was revealing a trauma from his childhood, I knew we needed to hear his story at the Red Table.
That's true though. I know a lot of people that don't want to talk about that shit, so that's true. They don't even be knowing that.
One of the reasons why this particular show was really important to me is because how many men told me.
Right.
Men that you knew personally.
Yes. If I think about the list of 20 men in my own life, there'll be like 4 or 5 out of 20 that have been, sexually abused. I mean, even to the extreme of rape. So
and they don't
over the years, I've been really shocked at how common it is. Most men won't report it. They won't come out and talk about it. Such a secretive matter.
Right.
Joining the Red Table is a former NBA player, Keon Dooling, who for a very long time had kept a deep secret. In 2012, Keon Dooling had a picture-perfect life with a beautiful wife and 4 adorable kids. He was starting his 12th year as an NBA player and had just signed a new $1.4 million contract with the Boston Celtics. He played for the legendary NBA championship coach, Doc Rivers, and his best friends were his teammates. All-star point guard Rajon Rondo and a young rising star, Avery Bradley. The Celtics had become his second family.
Our Celtic culture was just, it was extremely tight. We were a family.
About charisma, he was a very intelligent, guy who was kind of almost like a mentor, a big brother.
He said,
to me.
that boy spit on me.
Our kids play together.
Me and Keon instantly just had like a special relationship. He was like an older brother for me.
Avery invited Keon to Seattle for a charity event, but afterwards, his life took a dark and drastic turn.
After the event, Keon having an incident with someone in the bathroom and us having to stop him, like calm him down. And this is kind of where everything started.
While Keon was in the bathroom, a drunk man grabbed his behind and Keon snapped.
We walked outside and we happened to see the guy that Keon saw in the restroom, and he started choking him. To calm Keon down, I just held him tight, told him it wasn't worth it.
From that day on, his teammates say Keon became someone they didn't recognize.
He came back from Seattle when we kind of had a gathering at the house. I started to see the difference in the change then. He kept talking about, how we all need to, repent and ask for forgiveness. God is coming soon. And I was definitely worried.
A few days later, Keon went to the Celtics gym and brought his little boy, KJ, with him.
Guys were playing pickup on the court at the time, and Keon went on the court and stopped the pickup game.
Man, this is a different type of red table talk, baby. This is like a mini doc.
Man, what's wrong with
I
Keon?
see you, Jada.
And I remember him saying that he wanted to give his contract up. He didn't want to play anymore.
I got a call from my assistant, Emery. You need to hurry up and get here. Keon is having a meltdown. And so when I pull up at the facility, the door busts open and it's Keon in his shorts and no shirt. It's cold outside. And he hugs me. But he hugs me tight and hard and for a long time.
He just needs
He was literally talking about Illuminati's, evil, God. He wasn't making a lot of sense.
I wanted to get his son away because he still was acting a little bit different.
And I remember Rondo grabbing his son, KJ, and me driving him home. I was like, man, this isn't my brother. No, I have no idea what could have went wrong for him to just snap.
Snap like that, yeah.
Emery calls me and tells me they put him in a mental institution. I just jumped in the car and I went to see Keon. And when I pull into this facility, if you've ever seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it was worse. I said, you don't belong here. What's going on, Keon? And that's when he opened up about what happened. That he was abused, sexually abused. He said, I must have blocked it out of my mind all these years, and somehow it came pouring out of me.
Oh my God, yo. Darn.
I thought he was in trouble. And to watch what he went through, I don't think he'll ever understand the fear of all the people who
care about him,
loved him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woo.
How does that make you feel?
A lot of emotions. I feel supported. I feel loved.
Yeah.
And I also feel like a man who was in the battlefield, and my brothers didn't just leave me there.
Yeah.
Right.
That proved to me that, man, my folks got love for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was very
Hold on, y'all. Facebook acting up again. Hold
also
on,
during
y'all.
PTSD.
Who
I had to bring it back because it was skipping. It had to load a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
A lot of emotions.
Let me pause it for a second. Let me pause this for a second.
I feel loved.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, on some real shit, there's so many of our men that have been abused, and we already trained them to like not feel and not cry and man up and yada yada. They don't know how to deal with their feelings, and that's why when we get in these relationships with them, they don't even know how to communicate. They don't even know how to sometimes even show affectionate. Just like he just said, it was like, he must have blocked it out. It's so many, how many men have been molested and they don't even know. They're like some of them think it's funny. Or just like, I had sex with my babysitter. Your fucking babysitter shouldn't have been touching you. And they don't even know that. They don't even understand that. You know what I mean? In the last few years, I've had people tell me, and I'm like, I start feeling like I'm about to cry for them. Because they, if they don't give a fuck about our black women, our little girls being molested, you think they're going to give a shit about our black men? That's the thing. The more, like you said, Common said, the more if he speak out, about situation, open doors for people. Just like when I spoke out about my anxiety. That was, for me, that was the moment where it's like, you don't want to let nobody know that you're weak, So even when I brought it up to people and family members, I felt out that they had issues with it. You know, and I didn't even know these are my family members. Come on with the dumb shit. God, this computer get on my nerves since all these goddamn alerts. But it's just a shame. We gotta protect our babies. We gotta protect our men, and we gotta, like, you know, let them feel. Sometimes they already don't have fathers. They took away our damn fathers when it came to war, our husbands and everything else, and then with the crack epidemic. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is so bad. But you know, this is just, I respect and I love the interviews like this that Jada do, because it just brings so much awareness to so many things that we have just been kicking under the rug as family, as a culture for too many years, y'all. The cycle has to stop. Let me push play back on here.
And I also feel like a man who was in the battlefield, and my brothers didn't just leave me there.
Yeah.
That proved to me that, man, my folks got love for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was very happy about that. Also, during PTSD, you don't remember everything you experienced. And that's a very difficult place to be for me as a man, to say, hey, I don't remember some of those things that happened during those times. And so to hear the different perspectives, you know, kind of really brings it full circle to me as well.
Can
you don't remember everything you experienced. And that's a very difficult place to be for me as a man, to say, hey,
block it out.
I don't remember some of those things that happened during those times. And so to hear the different perspectives, you know, kind of really brings it full circle to me as well.
Can you take us back to the beginning?
Like, no,
can you take us back to the actual incident?
Yes,
right, take
I can.
us back to the incident.
I can. So it was a rainy day, South Florida, in the summer. My friend and I, we were at one of my brother's friend's house, and we've been there before. We've hung out there before, played the video game, but this day it was different.
Huh?
Right.
This day he put porn on.
Hold up.
Hold back to the beginning. Can you take us back to the actual incident?
Yes, I can. So it was a rainy day, South Florida in the summer. My friend and I, we were at one of my brother's friend's house, and we've been there before. We've hung out there before, played the video game, but this day it was different.
Right.
This day he put porn on.
Okay.
And that was really, to me, you know, a part of the grooming.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young, you're curious, you don't really know what to expect, but you also know that you're a human being. So when porn's on, it kind of grabs your attention.
Yep.
And as that whole process went on, you know, ooh, it's
what?
Always still tough to talk about, but that was a point where, you know.
I gotta pause this for a second. All right, while I'm letting this load, y'all, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channels. Both of them, my Chyna Blakk page, ChynaBlakk, and also the TFC podcast with CB Man. I'm on my 3rd season, and I'm looking for some ideas and stuff like that. I do interviews and also general topics. So I have I'm sorry, y'all. Panel discussions. It was a show on there still. Panel discussions and things like that. The next panel discussion is on domestic violence, so make sure y'all spread the word. Please email me if you would like to be involved and you would like to be a part of it. Whether it's from the side of you putting your hands on somebody, seeing other people put their hands on somebody. We want to know where this is coming from and how we can, you know, stop it and things like that. Also, the podcast is also on audio as well. Anchor.com, Google, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff, y'all. Just make sure y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to everything. Take a listen, watch on YouTube. I also edit videos. So, just doing a little promo for my damn self, So we're going to get back to this video.
But you also know that you're a human being.
Right.
So when porn's on, it kind of grabs your attention.
Yep.
And as that whole process went on, ooh, it's always still tough to talk about. But that was a point where he first orally raped me.
Got it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So it was a friend of the
I remember
brother.
running out of there, going home, and jumping in the shower. I got my bike, I threw it down, I took my handlebars off, I taped up a knife, and I put my handlebars back together, and I kind of started riding with a knife.
Got it.
With me.
How old were you, Keon?
Right.
I was 7 years old.
Oh,
Got it.
no.
I was 7 years old at the time.
And how old was he?
You
At
got
the
to
time,
tell
he
your
had
kids
to
early about
be
that. I tell my
about
son that
15,
right now.
16 years old.
Got it.
I've
Got
been
it.
telling him
Was
since
it
he
an
was about
isolated
5.
incident?
Yeah, that was an isolated incident.
Right. And you never told anyone?
Probably earlier than that.
Never told anyone. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell anyone.
Anybody.
What was it that made you
not say nothing?
not tell anyone?
Right. Again, right.
Fear.
Right.
There was a fear of me telling my pops that I was touched by a boy.
Right.
Right. And that dynamic. Those conversations aren't necessarily had, in a healthy way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's a fear that comes along with telling your protector.
Never told anyone?
Never told anyone. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell anyone.
Anybody.
What was it that made you not tell anyone?
Fear.
Right.
There was a fear of me telling my pops that I was touched by a boy.
Right.
Right. And that dynamic. Those conversations aren't necessarily had, in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's
So
a fear that comes along with telling your protectors out of fear of what they might do. How would they retaliate?
You trying to
And
protect
what the repercussions would have been for them.
Yes. Did you still have to see this person?
Yes.
And,
Yeah, I had to see him quite a bit.
Did it ever make you
It's skipping again.
Question like
Your sexuality.
or question just your you?
Yeah. I think you have to.
And that's another thing, the embarrassment.
Have
you
to,
think it's your fault
ask
or
yourself
something.
questions in order to try and wrap your mind around it. So, the first question is, what was it in me?
You know what I'm gonna do, y'all?
That they saw that it happened.
1080, I'm gonna turn it down to
Was it some type
720,
of,
so it can load faster.
energy that I was
I'm gonna turn it down.
giving off?
How about that? Yeah, that makes it better.
Yeah, I had to see him quite a bit.
Did it ever make you question like your sexuality or question just you?
Yeah, I think you have to. You have to, ask yourself questions in order to try and wrap your mind around it. So, the first question is, what was it in me that they saw that it happened to me?
Right.
Was it some type of, energy that I was giving off? So a lot of times, I blame myself. Like, dang, he caught me slipping. What was I doing there?
Oh, no, baby,
Also,
no.
you question your toughness.
Yeah.
You question your masculine energy because I wasn't strong enough to fight him off. And so I blamed myself for years.
So you were only 7. Do you remember whether you noticed in yourself any kind of change in behavior that you can recall now? Because you wouldn't have recognized it then.
Yeah. It made me angry.
Yeah.
I went from being, happy-go-lucky to, if I didn't get my way, I might, throw bottles on the basketball court. Nobody playing today. Started smoking very early. Started drinking very early. I became more promiscuous at a very early age. I got to prove to myself that this wasn't real, so I got to go chase as many girls as I potentially can, So it made me very promiscuous.
Did you ever confront your abuser?
No. I never got that opportunity to confront him or get that, justice. A lot of times when you're abused, you might not get justice.
Right.
But I think you got to get healing.
Yeah.
I think they're both important.
Yeah.
But for me, the track that I chose was the healing track. And so the first person I told about it was my wife, and then I told Doc about it.
How did she react?
Ooh, it was tough.
Yeah.
She was just so disappointed that, I didn't tell her.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I thought she would look at me as less than a man.
Yeah.
So there was some fear. associated with that.
Oh my God.
Also, you know, just being in a very masculine industry.
Yes.
You know, how would the guys perceive that I've been, you know, sexually abused at the hands of a teenage man? Right. So there was a lot of, you know, doubt and insecurities and confliction within me during that time.
Many of them out here.
We don't always think about how sexual abuse affects a survivor's loved one.
Right.
But Keon's wife, Tasha, has been dealing with this trauma as well. Keon Dooling and his wife, Tasha, were high school sweethearts.
Oh, yeah.
I met Keon at a football game, and he was 16 years old.
That's why she like,
I like that he was funny, and he was caring. We went to all the events together. Prom, we went to homecoming together. You couldn't pull us apart.
At just 20 years old, the Doolings began their life together. They got married, started a family, and watched Keon's dream of joining the NBA come true when he was drafted in the first round. They had a happy life until the incident in the bathroom.
After Keon came back from Seattle, he changed a lot. And he was acting weird. He see things that we didn't see. You know, he thought people was out to get him. One day, my daughter, Gabby, ran upstairs and she was like, Mommy, Daddy's in the street. And cars are coming and they're blowing at him. And I'm just like, what? So one of the neighbors saw Keon in the street and they called the police. The police came and there was a whole bunch of police, and I'm just like, oh my God, and they knocking and bamming on the door. They had their guns and they handcuffed him on the floor. And they was just like, is he having a mental breakdown? I said, yes. He was like, we have to take him because he can't be here around the kids.
Tasha followed the police car to the hospital, but when she got there,
it broke my heart because he didn't know who I was.
Oh my God. He was medicated that much?
Yeah.
That he didn't even know who his
I
father
was
was?
like, I'm Natasha Dooley. I'm your wife. And he said, you sure? I said, yeah. And so he said, well, then who am I? I said, you're Keon Dooley.
Right. He didn't even know who he was.
I said, we have 4 kids. And that was really hard. And I knew I couldn't take him back around the kids until he got better. I sent him to the mental institution, and that was hard, too.
It wasn't until the next day Tasha was allowed to visit him.
That mental hospital was really, honestly, like a horror movie.
Right.
Like something that I seen off a film. It was really scary.
Yeah, because
when I got in to see him,
and that's their only
he just like had his hand behind his head, laying on the bed, and then I just got in the bed and laid next to him. He told me that he was molested and that he cheated
with loved ones.
And I'm just like, okay, Keon, like, dang, you wait till you 35 to tell me this, and then on top of that, you tell me you cheated? So now I have to not only, like, help you get out of here, I gotta help you get out of here knowing that you cheated on me. I wanted to say, well, okay, wait, the women you was sleeping with, have them come help you get out of the military. That's what I really wanted to say, but I could not leave my husband in that hospital. I think I went through every emotion that you could possibly go through at that time. I was hurt, and I still feel rage. I'm surprised I'm able to sit here.
Wow. You still feel rage about?
It's just like when I think about certain things, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I'm folding this underwear, you know, stuff like, you know, just little things. Like sometimes you just think about it and you just start thinking and just get angry. So, you know, I just had to get him out of there first. Then deal with
all that
with all that other stuff. So finally when I got him out, then he got well, then I had to deal with what I was going through, because I felt like he was getting worse there. It seemed like every time I went there, they was doping him up.
Well,
like,
that's what I was going to ask. Was he on medication?
Yeah, he was on medication, and I just felt like it was really
like
making him worse. And I was just like, if I don't get my husband out of here, I'm going to lose him.
Yeah. Have you been able to grasp what he was dealing with?
That could lead
to
the adultery.
The adultery. I mean, and
the promiscuity.
I didn't understand that at first.
But you do now.
I do now.
Oh, yeah.
It's really tough to even think about. You know what I mean? but it wasn't about me.
Not in the least.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't be fault for what he did.
Right.
And that's what I had to tell myself.
Yeah. You feel like that's kind of, your anger is kind of smoothing out.
It is.
Good.
It is smoothing out. It has to. I got 4 babies.
Yeah.
I just can't
and
be
you
popping
got a
up.
beautiful
Yeah, I
husband.
do.
Who love you.
Yes, I love this man since I was a kid.
Right. And all the work that he's
Yes,
done.
I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
I am so proud of him.
Just that alone.
Yeah.
We just really had to revamp and learn each other differently.
Yeah.
You know, learn each other's love language, how to communicate. Also, where our
Listen to
potential.
you.
Well,
Let me tell you, this man right here. Yes, Dr. has worked.
Look.
Yes, you have.
Yes, you have.
Look,
Yes, you have. I'm so impressed.
I'm trying to grow
Happy
old with
for
my
you.
family. So I just thank Tasha for being vulnerable enough.
Right.
This process has allowed me to hit levels of love that I didn't know I
We're
was
so much
capable of.
Yes. As difficult as this time has been for you guys, it's been a blessing.
It has.
You know,
Yeah, because you're all the better for it.
Yes.
You know, sometimes like the best part about your life will be sometimes the most darkest. Or the thing that might, you know, you might be ashamed of. And I just knew I couldn't get stuck and be another story of somebody who just lost his mind and then disappeared. And I had a redemption story to tell.
that part. Well, you know, I also have to say, you know, as far as I'm proud of the community that has surrounded you and supported you. And we got a message from some folks.
We upgrading.
Keon, man, it's been a journey. I'm very proud of the man you've become, and I appreciate the brother you've been for me in my entire life.
Thank you for helping me become not only a better basketball player, but a better person.
You are a leader of men. You're an important figure in all our lives.
I know that Doc has been like one of your number one supporter.
Yeah, love some Doc Rivers.
But he has more to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, Doc in the building.
Oh, she's first, man.
I'm good.
What's up, brother? How you doing? I'm great, man. Oh, man, I'm doing
Yeah,
great.
Doc.
So, Doc, I got to show you this. You didn't get to see this, Doc.
Excuse me.
Oh, my
But I
God.
had to get that Mbutu on there, Doc.
that is-
What's that?
Mbutu was
I
our
love
team
that.
mantra.
Yes.
That Doc gave us when I was with the Celtics, and it goes, in order to me to be all that I could be, I need you to be all you can be, so that we could be all that we could be.
It's an African word.
And so, like, that's something that just
Woo,
really,
hot.
you know, resonated with me. And, man, the fact that you showed up for me, man, you ain't leave me.
I was going nowhere, you know that.
You saw me, you know, through, you know, that experience, man. It just, it's life-changing for me. So I just, you know, I always love you for that, Coach.
Love you.
Yeah.
Love you.
Always.
You know, Tosh she was like the silent, like, warrior hero.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
You really were. Like, it's amazing. And everyone always says what you were going through. And I remember telling Anne-Marie, I think Tosh is going through it. You know, she's got the kids. And when that call came, I swear I was on a golf course. And I don't walk off the golf course for just anybody.
Right.
I
course,
ran.
baby.
Like, I was like, no, this is...
Yeah, Doc, you were there, man.
When you were struggling, you know, we all became sad.
Yeah.
Like, as a group, our team and I did. And, you know, we go back to the one day when I walked in that mental institution, and, you know, I told you later, I was like, the first thing I thought was, this man, he doesn't belong here.
Right.
Like, we're getting him out of here.
That's why, Doc, I really have a lot of admiration for you as well, because you really saw this young man in trouble, and you really did what you could.
But we wasn't letting him go.
You need
Like,
to just cut your hair off, though, Doc. I don't
Like,
understand what's
right.
the
Well,
is that a
I'll be
Caesar?
frank
That's
with you.
not a
There's
Caesar. I don't know what
times
the fuck
there's
it is.
people
Cut
in
it
your
off,
life you do
go
let go.
on.
Yes.
You know, there are. There really are. But he wasn't one of them.
Right.
You know, I just know him. I knew him. Like, there was no way we were going to let him go.
What was it about him?
His soul, his spirit. He was, you know, you hate to say a good one, but he's such a good human being.
Yeah.
And this was a guy worth saving. And I do think your relationship with the players
it helped.
was the help. I mean, Rondo and all those guys, you know, Rondo could be a pain in the butt. And you know that. Am I right?
I can neither confirm or deny the allegations.
But having said that, when this happened, Rondo was on top.
That's
He was
right,
so
Rondo. That's
It's
what's
funny
up.
how, like, that helped me with Rondo. Because all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. Rondo's a great dude.
Right.
You know, people think Africans are perfect, but we have problems just like everybody else.
That's why we like coming here at the red table. I'm hoping that we can create more vulnerable space for our men.
Right.
You know, because it's the vulnerability as well that nurtures the strength.
Yeah, we don't talk.
No.
You come home from practice, and hey, what you do today? Nothing.
Right.
You know, what's going on? Nothing.
Right.
It's just who we are, I guess. I don't know. And when we do feel better about it, but we just don't share. I'm guilty of that as much as anybody. I just don't. I
just think it's a man thing, unfortunately.
That's how we
why we carry wallets. You guys carry purses. Y'all got all this stuff. We don't carry much. You know, we don't take it. It is the meat potato. We don't go to therapy.
No, we don't.
Especially black men. Black men don't want to go to the dentist.
Black people in general. We do not do
It's true. We don't trust doctors. We don't trust doctors. To try to get an athlete to a therapist is brutal. It's hard because to them, it's a sign of weakness. And you can't show weakness.
The thing that I realized when I went to therapy, it was like a physical relief, like weights went off my shoulders. Now, my personality was different. Sometimes I was like Pac, because I was mad up in that joint. Sometimes I was hopeless, like sad. But I went through all those different emotions, dropped that baggage off. I'm telling you, there's so many guys carrying their whole life experience around with them. And if they really want to soar, they got to get rid of some of that emotional baggage so that they can just soar.
I was really grateful that I had a lot of male friends that shared their experiences with me, because I was as strict of where my boys were staying, where they were going, as I was with my girl, because I had heard enough stories to know that it was a reality, that your boys could be victimized the same way.
And look at my kids, they're all athletes. They have all been on road trips. Anything could have happened. And we would have never known. It would make everything so taboo.
Listen, I tell my kids all the time, my 8-year-old, I don't care where you are, he can go to his grandmother's house. Don't let nobody touch you in your private area if they're not just helping you out. You know how to wash up. At this point, you know how to wash yourself. Nobody should be washing or touching your private areas, period. I don't give a fuck who it is, okay? Because years ago, they weren't, like, this stuff wasn't a thing that you talked about. You have to talk about it today. It's crazy.